Hi, welcome to another video and episode of my fischertechnik monorail, controlled by BeagleBoard Classic and rover interface, controlled by Linux and Python. Last time I ended with a more or less failed attempt to add some weight to this carriage in an attempt to get these wire carriage running around with the propelled carriage. Because of the wire, it is not really working out. Not even with this extra load attached to it. If I do it like this, it just hangs, and yeah, that's more or less it. If I run a program, it is quickly seen why this is not going to work. It needs time, the carriage needs time to get there, and you can see it already derails. The wire is blocking any attempt. So when I take things off, it should go a lot better, but in the end it's no use. So let me remove this one anyway, and you see things go a lot smoother, as long as it doesn't derail for some reason. And now you can see that by because of the wire it derails. It somehow works, but it does not come with this. And now it derails again. So this is not the way to go and to keep going. This way it works, but then this one derails. So not really a good idea. Another idea is to have the power running via this rail. That way you avoid all these wire problems from the motor to the interface. Because this wire goes to the interface, and by running it here through the rail you avoid this wire problem. And what you would have to do is find a way to get the wire tapped here on this rail somehow, and that would be done would be the upper side of the rail, and then it will have no problem going anywhere. The only question is how to do that, because there is not really a way to mount one of these connectors really onto the rail. Well, if you want something, there's always a solution. It's called engineering. So I guess that is the way I want to go now. Getting rid of the long wire and see how I can get that idea going. Do I need one rail? Well, that's a bit of a problem, because as you can see here, here and there and other places, there's a plus and a minus. and they both have to be connected. So that is going to be a challenge how to do that. But let's see. Using the monorail, or this rod I use for the rail, as a plus, say like the red connector, I also need one for the green, for the ground. And the problem I get now is that I will have to reconstruct all of this. And not just in one way, because having one rod next to it is one thing, but the rods I have left are shorter than the one I use for the rail. And because of the construction of the carriage, I will have to put this on that side, so they will be somewhere here, and then one next, and then another one right until the end of the track is reached. So I will have to reconstruct this, so this is here, but I would have to put something here, or use this and extend this somehow. Putting this next to it, and this one next to it, with one shorter wire connecting from the interface to one here and one to the other rod, and in that way have it all running. That would get rid of the wire problem, and it would make an extension of the track possible. So up next is to see how this is possible. Here under is one notch, so I could use that to extend this here somehow, or here. That would be possible. I can extend this as well, but then I would have to see how I can put this to both rails, but then I would also first have to know the distance. So I think the first idea is to disconnect the wires, because the algorithm for now works. I don't have to test that. And then see how I can put one rail or one rod next to this. See how this works out. Is that all there is for now? I think so, because this carriage will keep running on this track. So in that respect nothing will change. And I will keep using this, but with a much shorter wire. So let's see how that first reconstruction works out. I've just made first attempt for reconstruction. So here it is with a 60-60-60 angle piece, and that just looks like this. So I've added one construction here, and this is very nicely suited to add to it. And this is being the same as this, so I just slide it in, Very nicely done. And when I have one support piece here, I can lay this in and find a problem. Because here I can't put a rod at the exact same height. So while this construction is very nice for just one rod here, let me adjust the cam a little bit. So for this it works nicely, but for two rods it's going to be a bit difficult. So the question is how to solve that. Do the rods really have to be at the same height? Well, if I push the carriage a little bit here, the answer is clearly no, they don't. If I use another piece here with a notch on top, so I can put these there may be no problem at all. There's enough space between this and the underside of this the balancing part. But as usual, you have to put things into practice, and then you see whichever problem you're going to meet. Having said that, if this is going to be higher, this will have to be higher as well. And if it just will be an extension to the side and then up, or from the bottom up, I don't know yet. Point is that all these parts have predefined dimensions, so I'm not entirely free to make up my mind. But considering this, let's just start and do something about this. Because this is nice, but a little bit higher won't hurt. And then of course with this part here, it may need to be further there, this way, because here it also shares two rods, and with this rod here it should be right here, which is another point I didn't keep in mind. So two upcoming changes, this one and this one here, and higher. So let's see how that will work out. So with this piece of reconstruction done, when I lay this here, it is all in place. I don't need to reconstruct this because from the other side it will just lay over it, so no problem there. I will just have to make a support somewhere over here, but that is for another time. Right now I'm concentrating on this side, and I will have to put a support like this here, but on the height of this. So to start with, I have made some kind of attachment here to which this one somehow should go. And the big question is, how will that work out? So it will have to be somewhere here, so this is already too long, unfortunately. Well, I can solve this by adding something like this to it. So let's proceed. Putting something like this on it, and this is all trying out. Let me have another one. So somehow this could go here or could go here. It just does not exactly fit, unfortunately. Alright. But then again, I need something for the height. So let me put this one. And then what is the correct height for it? It needs a little bit higher. So I'm adding a part. So now I have 3 of them. And one of this. And that should be somewhere here. Now, is this the same height I should have? Not with that one. Oops. Let me go back to this one. Stick it in. And just see how this works out. It is too high. It should be somewhere like this. So I need to take this one out. And then it just could work. And advantage is it doesn't even need to be exactly horizontal, since it is just for electrical wiring, electrical transferring. So this is a bit of the idea. Maybe it need even go here somewhere. And that is the idea. So let's proceed with this, although this definitely needs improvement. The question was how to electrify these rods. Well, it looks simple. Take a staple, bend it around it so it clamps, and then you have it electrified. So in order to get that exactly done, let me take the long wire out, if it lets me, and then this short wire in. And it hopefully cooperates. And then you should have 9 volts over it. So let me just go to the diagnostics interface, then open the interface. Yes. And which one is this? This is actually motor number 2. So with the multimeter at hand, I should be able to measure something and see. No, you don't see it. Now you will. Seven volts, which is great. This means that this part has succeeded, so I can electrify successfully the rods. The problem now is that I do have a carriage, so how do I take off the electricity from the rods? And that's a whole different story, because they have to slide over it, and I of course could do that exactly the same as this one, but this one clamps over it and this has to slide for making contact, and it has to slide both ways, of course. So that is a very good question I haven't solved yet, but this is a first step, and of course I have to construct this part yet, because here the rods aren't there yet, and this is part 1. Successfully done. So I can remove this wire entirely and see for a so-called I think tackle crave or whatever. Anyway, let's think about that one. So with a short wire attached to the carriage with propeller, the idea is that you touch it like this, and it's not on full strength, I see, so let me put the full force on it, and then you see it works. However, it should be possible to slide, and right now okay. But for some reason it doesn't always work when sliding, and I'm constantly making contact. So do I touch this correctly? I'm not quite sure. So let me try again. mostly it works, as you can hear, but for best results and because of this well, equilibrium seeking carriage, it needs its balance, and because of that it needs flexibility for the contacts. So it needs to be able to be fixed on this, but how I can do it here with the changing distance, that's a very different question. And the most logical way would be something like this, riding over it. But on the other hand, you need to keep a distance, the same distance here. It is possible to mount this here, but then again, if it loses contact, what happens? Probably you lose power and you can't use that. So enough food for thought. And with that, I think I end this episode for now. So what did I do? Changing this wire for a shorter one, adding a second rod in order to keep the to get power via the rods and no longer via a long wire. And this should enable covering larger distances as well, because this is not a very long distance, and well, it should be nicer. So with that said, thank you for watching. Enough to do. And if you like this video and the ideas I'm trying to work out, please allow advertisements in support of my blog and videos. If you don't want to allow advertisements, then please visit my website for PayPal to support my blog. And this is certainly to be continued. With a contact like this, if it works. And right now, yes and no, yes and no. So who knows what I may end up with.